Hi there everybody and welcome. It's Jackie here from stampingjack.com and welcome to this week's Facebook Live. I've had a break for a couple of weeks because my son and my husband were over from the UK, so I was busy enjoying life with them. I hadn't seen them in quite some time, so husband went back to the UK yesterday. Not entirely sure when we'll get to see each other again, but hopefully it won't be for too long. So apologies, I haven't seen you guys for a while, but you can. We've got some fun ideas for you tonight. So, hi Doreen, welcome. So yeah, drop me a comment below when you join, and yes, if you wouldn't mind sharing this video, that would be fantastic. Similarly, if you're watching it on the replay on YouTube, you'd like to give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. So I'm just going to check my settings, make sure that I'm in the right place. Hi Amy, welcome. Let's just make sure everything's all okay. Hi Lynn, good to see you. Thanks for sharing. Hi Sue. Hi Sue. Hi Diane. Good. Okay, so I've got some fun stuff for you tonight. Let me just... How is everybody? How's the weather been in the UK? We have had a massive heat wave here in the Isle of Man. So for the last 2 to 3 weeks, it's just been bone dry, roasting hot. I think last week the temperatures went up to like late 20s. But then today and yesterday we had some thunderstorms and very heavy rain. Hi, Kat. So I think everybody's a little bit relieved, especially lawn owners, because all the grass around the place is looking pretty sorry for itself. I don't know what the weather in the UK has been looking like. I have to say, I'm not keeping a track with the UK as much as I used to, but there you go. What have I got to tell you this evening? Well, first of all, these are the cards that we made in our last session. So these were our fun shaker cards. So if you didn't make last time, just check it out and you'll see there's 2 different ways. There's kind of a cheaty way and a traditional way of making shaker cards. But tonight we've got to have some fun with our patterned paper. Very wet, says Lynn. Well, I'm not surprised. I think it's come our way via the UK, but I guess the plants and the grass and the trees and everything must be very happy to have some good weather. Or should I say wet weather. Right, so a couple of things to tell you about tonight. The first thing is, and the reason why I'm going to play around with some patterned paper tonight is just to remind you that our DSP sale, is that right? Yes, that sounded really wrong just for a second there. Do you ever have that happen to you? You say something that you say all the time and all of a sudden it just sounds weird. Anyway, so yes, our designer series paper is on sale at the moment, 15% off, which is a great deal. So basically it's all of the papers currently in our main catalogue except for our speciality papers. So we've got Beauty of the Earth, Bloom Where You're Planted, Hand Penned, In Good Taste, In the Wild, Pansy Petals, Sweet Symmetry, Tidings of Christmas, and You're a Peach. So I know that some of you have already taken advantage of that and gotten yourselves stocked up on your favourite papers. That ends on the 2nd of August, which is soon. Is that this week? Sue Bishop says she's got, it's humid but one small thunderstorm. I love thunder, but I love a really good big thunderstorm. So I'm going to give you some ideas about using your patterned paper. So just make sure to stock up on that while you get your 15% off. Now, that promotion ends on the 2nd of August. And on the 3rd of August, we have some very exciting stuff for you. So this arrived in my mailbox over the last few weeks. This is the new holiday catalogue. So this is the winter catalogue. It says July, but it's been delayed by a month. So this goes live on the 3rd of August this year. So I can't show you the inside yet because it's not live. I've put in my pre-order and I'm expecting my goodies soon. So as soon as I get those, I'll be showing you what I've got. And these will be going out soon as well. So as soon as my catalogues arrive, I'll be sending them out to you all as usual. I'll be doing the usual paper share. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that closer to the time when I can show you the papers. So that's exciting, and there's some great stuff in here, some great Christmas stuff. I know I really don't start thinking about Christmas much before October, but what I really like about this one is actually there's quite a lot in here that's not Christmas, so I've got some fun stuff for that, but that's not all. Also on the 3rd of August starts our second celebration of the year. So normally we have celebration at the beginning of the year from January to March, but this year we're having it twice. So this celebration runs from the 3rd of August to the 30th of September. And same as always, every £45 that you spend, you get to pick an item from this little catalogue here. So again, I can't show you what's inside. There's a little... That's on the outside, so I can show you that. That's a little preview of one of the things that you can get. Yeah, that's celebration's always a lot of fun. So absolutely, it's a time to stock up and get all your freebies. So I'm planning my catalogue launch party, which I always do when we have a new catalogue. So I just have to figure out the dates, and we'll spend the day together like we usually do, crafting, having fun, and our usual bingo night. So keep an eye out for those dates. But as I say, if you're a customer of mine, you should be receiving your catalogue in the post in the next... It depends, they haven't arrived to me yet. So as soon as they arrive to me, I'll send them back out. So hopefully within the next 10 days or so. But for tonight, I want to give you some fun ideas around patterned paper. So I'm going to start with one of the packs in the sale is the Christmas Tidings, which, as the name suggests, is Christmas paper. And you can see we've got some very Christmassy patterns on here, but we've also got some lovely patterns that are not Christmassy at all and are actually, I think, really, really good for masculine cards. And I think one of the easiest ways to use your paper is to just let it do all the work on your card. So what I've got here this is a piece from that. So you can see this side is really quite Christmassy, but this side is totally neutral and very, very masculine looking. So I've got a card base of Evening Evergreen. So we're just going to fold that in half. Okay, and then I've got a layer of grey granite that's 10 centimeters by 14, and then I have a layer of the paper which is a half a centimeter, again shorter, so it's 13.5 by 9.5. And I've got one of I love my star dies. They're absolutely fantastic. So I'm just going to very quickly just cut the star from the center of this panel because it won't get seen and it saves me some cards. So bear with me 1 second. There we go. So this is super simple way to use your patterned paper. Okay, so I'm just going to take my glue. See if I can get it out. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So this works equally well if you've got a really busy pattern of your paper. So I guess the thing I'm saying to you with this is, A, don't dismiss your paper just because of what it's called, or say, oh, that's a Christmas paper, I can only use it for Christmas, or that's a flowery paper, so I can only use it for feminine cards. Most of our paper packs have got quite neutral designs on the back, which make great backgrounds. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there. Get rid of the bits, and then I've just got a little offcut of Whisper White. Basic white, I should say, and I am going to take, so from this One Happy Family stamp set, I'm going to take the, where is it? I'm so proud of you. Okay, hopefully that will fit. Now I just have to find it. It's hard finding stuff what there is when you're reading it backwards. Here we go. So I haven't used this stamp set before, but I really liked the sentiments in them. And I love big bold sentiments, and you've seen me over the last few weeks using this particular stamp set to death. I think it's just one of those sets where I have to stop myself using it after a little while, because it was getting a little bit tedious, I think. So I love really big bold sentiments, but I also love these little sentiments that you can put on a strip like this. So that, you know, again, when it comes to your cards, your focal point can be your paper. Your focal point can be a die cut that's crooked. Your focal point can be your sentiment. So the important thing for me is that we really only have one focal point. So for today, there we go. The focal point is not my sentiment. So in those cases, I like to keep it quite small. Okay. So now I'm just going to grab my banner punch. So we'll just snip this a little. And then I'm just going to do a little tag on the end of each side. I'm just going to line it up there. Okay. Do it on the other side. Let's try and get it reasonably straight. That should do it. Okay. So we have this, and then I'm going to grab some of our elegant trim. So I've got a little bit of silver here. So just add a little bit of embellishment to this. So again, one of my favorite things to do, as you know, is to just add a little, like a little ziggy-zaggy piece. I think it's easier than a bow. It's a bit flatter. It's a little less fiddly, but again, it just adds that little bit of extra interest and texture without overpowering. Okay, so we've got that. And then I'm going to pop this up on some dimensionals. So again, with mail cards, I did a video a few weeks ago talking about mail cards and using geometric, put that on the wrong side. Using geometric shapes on your mail cards is a really good way of creating an embellishment without it being a flower. So that's where I find stars really helpful in that regard. Okay, so we've got that on there. And then we've got the I'm So Proud of You, which I'm just going to glue on. I'm going to put it on there like that. And then I've got from our card that we made last time, I've got these mini confettis that I got at the works. So we've got some white stars and some silver stars. So I'm just going to add a few here and there. Go. Okay, and so for these I'm just going to use some glue dots. Just doing random. We all know how fun doing random is. Put one up there. Okay, and maybe we'll do one more little one. I think that's overkill. I think we will leave it exactly as it is. So that's really the simplest, easiest way to use your paper. But I will finish the card. I'll glue this down to the front. There we go. Easy peasy masculine card using Christmas paper that's not Christmas. Like it. Alright, so let's move some of this out of the way and we'll move on to some other ways that you can use your papers. So, just try, I'm going to try, my aim tonight is to try and keep clean as I go so that I don't end up with a great big mess at the end of the night. We'll see how that one works out. Ooh, I've got hearts. Thank you very much, ladies. So you like that one. Excellent. So as I mentioned before, our paper has patterns on both sides. And sometimes I know I do. Sometimes I struggle because I don't know which side I want to use. So the next couple of cards are about showing you techniques that allow you to show off both sides of your paper. Okay, so for this next card, this is something that I think I last did quite a long time ago, but it's a really easy way to show off your paper. So I'm starting with the You're a Peach paper. I love this paper. I just think it's so pretty. So again, don't be put off by the fact that it's peach themed. It's got some really pretty patterns that have got nothing to do with peaches really, and the colours are just really lovely. It's an unusual colour combinations, I think, and again some spots and stripes. I love this stripe. Hey Anna, welcome, good to see you. So I'm starting with this piece of paper, and this particular technique works particularly well if you've got a really bright pattern on one side and quite plain on the other. Okay, you'll see why in a minute. So we've just got a regular card base. So this is balmy blue. So it's just picking up the colours that are in the paper. So again, when you're using your paper, we very helpfully tell you, we're going to very helpfully tell you what colours are in that paper, so it makes it super easy to match it. Okay, and then we've got a piece of white. So Sue says she's going to come and back out as the video is repeating itself. How odd. Is anybody else having that problem? I can't see it on mine. I hope it's just you, Sue. No offence. Right, and then I've just cut a piece of our pattern paper is the same size, so that's 10 by 14. Okay, and what I'm going to do is grab my trimmer. So on the long side, I'm just going to, so this is 14, so I'm going to find the halfway point, right, which is 7, and this is 10 this way, so I'm going to cut down halfway. So I'm just going to move my score tool out of the way. Whoops. So I've started to cut on this side, so I shall do it that way instead. Okay, so on our ruler here, I've got a measurement. I've got a measurement here, so I can cut down to 5 centimeters, which is halfway down. Okay, it doesn't have to be precise. Okay, so don't worry too much if you don't get it exactly right. Okay, so now what I have is my piece like this. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is, this is where I might need your help, ladies. What we're going to do is we're just going to fold back these pieces like so. Okay, and my question to you is, do we think we should have the big pattern on the outside, or do we think we should have the subtle pattern on the outside, if that makes sense? Okay, so you can see you can do it. You can do it either way, so let me know which one you want. So in the meantime, I've chosen my sentiment, which is Hello Fabulous. So you've got a little bit of a peekaboo space in here. Okay, so we're just going to take that and I'm going to stamp that in. Let's see what colour. I'm going to pick up the big on the front, big on the outside. Okay, I think we've got... Okay, so I'm just going to double check and make sure that my sentiment will fit, which it will, which is great. And then I'm going to take the, let me just double check which orange is the orange in the peach. I think it might be our new in colour, but I just want to double check. So this is what I was saying to you about checking what colours are in your paper, because that helps you to choose. So Balmy Blue, Calypso Coral, Mango, Pale Papaya is what I want. Okay, so let's grab our Pale Papaya. Pink. Okay, so big on the outside. I think I agree with you, ladies. I think that works a lot better. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp Hello Fabulous in Pale Papaya. Let's see if that works. So put that aside for a minute. So again, we're just going to, these are exactly the same size as one another. So I'm just going to line them up and just roughly fold them back to give me an idea of the space I've got to play with. And then stamp that there. There we go. That's it. Perfect. Okay. So then what I want to do is I want to grab some dimensionals. And I want to pop them just on the corners here. Okay. And then, as I say, I'm going to fold them back. Now, you can crease it and make it a really sharp fold, but I like to have it as a rounded fold like that. Can you see that? Okay. So all I want to do is just undo my dimensional. And generally, as I say, you can do it straight down like that, or you can do it like that. It depends entirely up to you how you want it to look. Okay. There we go. You're all in agreement tonight, ladies, which is good. Oops. So the only thing I would say to you is just watch this edge here so that you don't get a funny looking bit. Okay. So there we go. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is before I stick this down, is I'm going to add a bow. Now I think, do I want Pale Papaya or do I want my pink? Or my white, I should say. So let's see. So another decision for you, ladies. Again, you can put a flower here, an embellishment. I like the ribbon, but you can put whatever you like. Okay, so we've got the Pale Papaya, or we can have our white. So let me just tie my white bow. Oops. Here we go, peach or white. Okay, papaya, everybody's saying. So while you're voting, I've also cut a piece of Whisper White from my inside, and I have this little piece left over from cutting this bit, so I'm just going to stick it down the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to stick this bit up. Pale Papaya, Pale Papaya. Wow, great consensus here tonight, ladies. It's unusual. I must be on the right track if everybody agrees. Okay, so Pale Papaya it is. I think it works as well because this is a slightly larger ribbon. I think this is probably a little bit too small. So I'm going to use a mini dimensional on the back here, because there's a bit of dimension there. So I just want to pop it up slightly. So I'm just going to stick it in there in between the two folds. There we go. And then we're just going to stick it down. So what you want to do is don't be putting glue right up to the corner here, the edges here. Just put it on this side, okay? Because otherwise it will start to ooze out and start to stick your card down. So this is probably one that's not really for posting, because as soon as you put this in an envelope and send it, this fold will get completely squished, which you don't want. Okay, so let's just line that up like so. So again, there's nothing to stop you orienting your card that way and having your sentiment go that way as a landscape. It's entirely up to you, as usual. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just going to stick this down to our card base. So again, I think this is another one of those where it's really, really effective. Looks fantastic, but actually is dead easy to do. And this is one thing that you have to be a bit careful of, is to make sure that you press down firmly so that you get good adhesion. Okay, and then we'll just stick this piece inside. And we're good to go. So there we go. Card number 2. Easy, easy, easy. Right, let's put our ribbons away and move on to the next one. So the next one's a little bit more complicated, but still not that hard to do. Okay. Okay, here we go. Move this out of the way. Next up, I'm going to use probably one of my favourite patterned papers in the catalogue at the moment, and that is the hand penned. I think the patterns are really just so pretty. I love the colours, they're just gorgeous. And then again on the back side you've got some nice, I love this stripe. I've done a card with this a little while ago where we made a Hawaiian shirt for a man's card. And again, just some much more subtle patterns. Okay, so I've picked out, so this you need a 12 by 12 sheet of paper to do this rather than a 6 by 6. So what I have is I've got a piece of the patterned paper which measures 14 centimeters by 30. Okay, and what I'm going to do is on the long side is I'm going to score it. These are all centimeters, by the way. So I'm going to score it at 10 centimeters. There we go, and 10 centimeters from the other side. So basically we're scoring it into thirds. Okay. Okay, so can you see we've got our score lines here and here. Okay, so you've got to be a bit careful with your paper. You can see I've torn mine a little there, so I'm just going to get another piece. So when you're scoring, your paper is just to go a little bit easier than you would do if it's cardstock. Okay. Okay, so that's 10. And 10. Okay. So when you fold it in, just make sure that you've got your edges lined up. Okay. And then we're going to just fold this bit. like so. Now you'll see that our paper is 30.5 centimeters wide, so I've got a little bit of overlap, but for the purposes of this card design it really doesn't matter, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is turn it the other way and find the halfway point. So because this is 14 centimeters, is 14 the right one? No, it needs to be. Yes, 14 is right. Just checking my calculations there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to 7 centimeters, which is halfway. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark that here. Grab my pen that will reach in. Okay, so I'm just going to put a tiny little mark here at the top. Okay, at 7 centimeters, and the same down the end here. Okay, making sure it's still lined up. You only need a tiny little mark. Okay. So now you can see I've got my little mark here, and I've got my score line here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from here down to the score line on both ends to create 2 points, 2 flaps basically. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take so we've got our cutting track here. So we just want to line these two up. So I've got my score line here, and then we just move it round until the the mark I've made also sits in the same track, and then we just cut. Okay, and then we just turn it and do the same. So we mark up our point with our score line. I don't know if you can see that. Let's make a bit of room. So there we've got our mark here and our score line here. And as a general tip, try not to cut from the pointed end, because sometimes it can catch. Okay, so it's always best to cut from the score line to the point, if that makes sense. Okay. So when you do the first bit, it doesn't matter because it's a straight piece of paper. You don't have a little point. Sometimes it just catches the blade. Okay. And then here, so we've got the score line and the mark. There we go. Okay, so you can see now what we have. Okay, right, and then these you can just use as embellishments on other projects. So for example, you could do that on another project. So you've got the pieces for 2 cards. Do that, and then you could just stamp your sentiment in there. So it could go that way too if you wanted. So don't get rid of those pieces, you can use them. All right, so now I'm just going to burnish those score lines a little bit more. All right, so I've decided that I want this bit on the outside and this bit on the inside, but again, you can decide whatever you like. And then we have this piece that goes inside, so that's 10 by 14. Okay, we get that. And then, ooh, I thought that was a full card base. So bear with me a second, I'm just going to grab full card base for that. Okay, and this is Highland Heather, which again is one of the colours in the paper. All right. Okay, and then we've just got a piece for the inside. So we'll put that to one side for a moment. We're just going to work on this. So we're going to do a little bit of stamping on this piece of cardstock. So what I'm going to do is close my flaps and grab a pencil, if I have one, because I'll need to rub out. we go. So I'm just going to make a small mark here and a small mark here. I'm going to do some stamping and I want to know where my points are, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the coordinating stamp set and we'll take the outline image, pop that on the block, okay, and then we have, so now let's find, so it's a two-step stamping, so you've got the solid images that go with it, so we've got a big image here, and then here's our small double flowers, and this, I believe, is this flower. Okay, and then we have, where are our leaves? Should have put these all on a block before I started, so you didn't have to watch me figure out what everything was. Okay, now you could use your blends on this if you wanted. I was about to turn my page over because I had a mark on there. Really, I'm not forgetting that I had put that mark there for a reason. Okay, but I do have a little smudge there which I want to get rid of. Okay, and I want this image to show, so I do want it to peek out, and that's why I've got my marking here. If you wanted what was inside not to show, then you would make sure to do your stamping inside here, and then it wouldn't show. Okay, so if I did it like that, right, it sits between those marks, so when I folded my card piece over, you wouldn't see it, but I want to show something here, okay? So I'm going to stamp it twice. So I'm going to stamp it in I'm going to stamp it in black. I was going to do basic grey, but the pattern has it in black, so we'll stick with that. Okay, so we'll stamp it once here. So you can see I've gone above my mark. And then I'm going to stamp it the other way. Once here. There we go. Okay. And that looks a bit messy, but don't worry about that for the moment. We'll fix that. So now I'm going to do my stamping. So first of all, I'm going to do my leaves. So this looks like just jade to me. So let's grab that. Okay. And I think I'm going to want to stamp this also. So I'll grab the scrap. Yeah, that's better. I'm just stamping off my leaves. Let's move that up so you can see what I'm doing. And one of the things I really like about this is that the two-step, you can see from the drawings that this is very loose sort of watercolory effect. So if you don't get it exactly lined up, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So this one. There we go. So then I'm going to pick up the colours that are in the front, which are Highland Heather and Slow Saffron. So we've got Highland Heather. In fact, I'm going to use, I think I might use, let's try Fresh Freesia. Slow Saffron find Highland Heather. Here it is. So let's see which one we prefer. So I'm going to do the big flowers in So Saffron. There we go. There we go. And I'm going to do some of the little flowers in So Saffron too. There we go. And then I've changed my mind. I am going to use the Highland Heather, but I think I'm going to stamp off first. Again, you can see what I can do is I can sort of double stamp just to create a different look. And then I've got the small one here. And I think I'm going to introduce a third colour into here. They've got Pool Party. Okay, so we've got our medium-sized flower. And then you've got our teeny tiny flowers. So I'm just going to ink up one of these flowers. Stamp it in there. There we go. Pop it in there. Okay, so there we go. Very, very easy way to create what looks like you've watercolored it, hand drawn it. Okay, hence the name, hand pen. So now you can see that what we've got when we close this is that you can see that there's something in here, and I'm going to put it that way. Okay, but in the center here, I've just got a scrap. There we go. Okay, so just got a little scrap of white here. Okay, and I'm going to stamp in black. I'm going to stamp the thanks. Okay. So again, we've got coordinating dies here that will cut out all of these shapes for you if you want. So you could put die cuts in here, but I just wanted to do stamping. Thanks, Sue. I do like the colours. I wouldn't normally put these kind of colours together, but I do think they look nice. Okay, so we've got our memento. Here we are. And I'm just going to grab my little trimmer. I'm going to just trim this down a bit. Okay, and like my last card, I'm going to flag the ends. Let's bring back in our banner punch. Just feed that in. Oops. Just trying to get it in straight. This one end. Just trying to get it properly lined up. There we go. Okay, so that goes in the center like that. Okay, so you can see when we close our card, it doesn't show. And now I'm going to bring in some white ribbon. Oh, is it frozen, Diane? Oh dear. I don't know if that's you or us. Okay, so then what we're going to do is just on our inside piece here, is just do a teeny bit of stamping. So I'm going to take this little image, which is like a little flowery stemmy thing. Okay, and I'm going to ink that up in black. There we go, and then I'm going to take my Holland heather. And there's these little dots. Well, I think it might just be you, Diane, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately for you, but fortunate for the rest of us, if that makes sense. I'm just going to pop that in the corner. Okay. So we'll just glue this to the inside. You can see this is a scrap from last time. Well, from a few weeks ago, actually. But nothing goes to waste here. So that can go on the inside. Okay. Alright, so now we can assemble. So I'm going to stick this down. Okay. Now normally I would pop my sentiments up, but because this has got a fold over it, we just want to keep whatever's inside nice and flat. Okay, so there we go. Just make sure that's stuck down. Okay, and then I've got this ribbon, so I'm just going to wrap that around. Oh, you're back, Diane. That's good. Seems to be a bit odd tonight. Okay, so we're just going to tie our bow here. Go, and then just trim the ends. Right, and then on the back, I'm just going to take some double-sided tape. Blame it on the weather. Why not? It's as good a reason as any. Although I got a letter today saying that fibre broadband is now available in my area, so I think I might soon be able to upgrade to fibre, which would be really, really good. Certainly help with lives and things like that. And also I'm doing a lot of working from home at the moment, a lot of Teams calls, so a better internet connection would help for sure. Okay, so now that goes down on our card base, like so. Okay, so then what we have is this lovely card that opens like this, but also opens like that to reveal your message, but still with plenty of room inside. Now I think this needs a little bit of bling. What do you think, ladies? I think we need to add some bling to this for sure. So let me just, in fact I won't do that because I might add some. So we've got our rhinestones. So let's add some to the flowers inside. I can find my tool. Here we go. Oop. There we go. some of our teeny tiny rhinestones. I'm going to put one there to cover that smudge because it's irritating me. There we go. And yeah, I think a bit of wink of Stella as well. What do you reckon, ladies? It's definitely a wink of Stella sparkly type card. So I'm just going to be a bit careful that I just quickly scribble off my wink of Stella in between colours so I don't accidentally bleed the colours into one another. There we go. Okay, so now we'll close that back up. There we are. So actually the faffiest part of this card was actually stamping that insert. There we go. Card number 3. So now do we have time for one more? I think we do. Okay. So this is a card design that I did quite a long time ago now. So hopefully I will be able to remember properly how to do it. So we're winging it a little bit here. So this is using the Beauty of the Earth. Ooh, hearts. Thank you very much, ladies. This is using the Beauty of the Earth paper pack, which again is very autumnal and sort of a bit masculine-y. So I wanted to make it really quite feminine. So I've teamed it with some rich raspberry and some Blushing Bride. I do love these two colours together. So we've got our card base, which is the usual size, and then we've got the rich raspberry piece, which is 14 by 10, and then I've cut my paper piece and my Blushing Bride piece at the same size, which is 13.5 by 9.5. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's bring back in our trimmer. So we're basically going to create an opening here in our card. Okay, so what I want to do, and again you could measure this if you wanted to, but you know me, I like to just wing it a little bit. So what I want to do is take a point probably just under halfway on the short edge, and then just take it to a place not quite to the corner. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so I'm not quite halfway, and I'm taking it on a diagonal or on an angle down, but I'm not going quite to the corner here. Okay, so I'm going to cut that. Okay, so I end up with a piece like this. And then for this piece, I'm going to start at that same line, and I'm going to just take the cut out a little bit. Okay, so I want to keep that corner, but I want to get rid of all this bit here. Okay, there we go. So basically we end up with something like this. You can see. Okay, so in fact what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to make this even bigger. So this is why I don't like to measure this. I just like to do it by eye until I get the opening that I like. Okay, so this needs to be a bit more. An angle here. There we are. Okay, so every time you do this, it's going to look a little bit different. Okay, but the idea is that you're just creating this opening here that then will sit on top like so. Okay, and then before we stick anything down, I'm just going to add my sentiment here. So I'm going to use the Create with Friends stamp set, and I'm going to ink up in Rich Razzleberry onto my Blushing Bride, if I can find it. Rich Razzleberry is not a colour I use all that often, but I do like it with Blushing Bride. Okay, so we can move our trimmer out of the way now. And I want what do I want? That's what I want. Couldn't see it. So I want You're Amazing. So we've got Amazing. Oops. And You're, which is here. Okay, so You're Amazing. Just got a little bit of gunk on my stamp here, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Oh, just looks like a little bit of cardstock or something got stuck in there. Okay, there we go. Ink it up well. Sue's got super broadband, but it's not working for her tonight. Okay. Stamp that there. Go, and You're there, like that. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to glue this to our base here. Okay, so I'm just centering that like so. And then I am going to grab my okay, so now I'm just going to grab my what? What am I going to grab? My mind's gone blank. Ah, I know. My foam adhesive sheets, okay? Because what I want to do is to make sure this is really well covered. Okay, so I'm just going to take my piece, and this piece just happens to fit quite nicely here. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this bit off. There we go. Oops. And then I just got that bit stuck to me. And I'm just going to, oh, that's dimensionals. And I'm just going to cut a small piece here. Thanks, Diane. Like I said, I just wanted to make it a bit more, less autumnal, I guess, is where I was going. Because I don't feel very autumnal yet. I'm still enjoying the summer. Okay, so the reason I'm using these sheets rather than just lots and lots of dimensionals is that I really want it to be really firm. These panels, so I'm just piecing it all together. teeny tiny bit in the corner. Now what you could have done is you could have just taken your piece, put it on there and just cut. But I was working with some scraps to begin with, so that's why I went down that route. But I would suggest if you had a nice clean fresh sheet, that would be the easiest way of doing this. Okay, so now we line these up, not with the rich raspberry piece, but with the paper, so that you still have your rich raspberry border. Like so. Okay, and this definitely needs some embellishment, so I'm going to grab some ribbon, and I think could use that, or could we use our white? I think that one's going to be better. Maybe the big white might be nicer. So again, you could die cut, you could punch a flower and put some leaves on there, any kind of embellishment, just in that corner, whatever you like. Yeah, see, I think it needs the darker colour. Have the solid evergreen, so I think that might make it pop, as you say, Sue. Not sure, ladies. What do we think? Do you think the green or the white? I'm going to fiddle with my bow while you let me know what you want me to do. The reddish colour here, Sue, that is rich raspberry. As I was saying, it's not a colour I use very often at all. I'm not really a purple kind of girl. But yeah, I think the other thing I want, so I want to create a little bit of texture on here. So I'm going to grab my hand penned petals, and I'm going to grab this in the DSP. Yeah, so it's rich raspberry. There's a bit of Merry Merlot in there, and I guess it's just all kind of mixed together because it's blended together. So I'm going to grab my Blushing Bride. Okay, and then stamping off. Green. Whoop, inked the wrong side of the stamp. Green, white. I think that looks better. I think the other thing I'm going to do is grab some rhinestones. So I've got one vote for green and one vote for white. Any advances? Boom, boom. Doreen says white. Sue says white. Okay. Add a little one here. Okay, so let's grab the white. Pop that on there. There we go. So again, because this is raised, I'm just going to pop a dimensional into the gap here, like that. And in fact, I'm going to do 2. So I'm going to layer them on top of each other to make sure that my ribbon sits on top where I want it to. Okay, there we go. And then we're just going to glue that to our card base. And there we go. There's a name for this, but I can't remember. Oh, see, you were all doing so well, being in agreement about everything today, and I've completely divided you on all counts with this card. It's definitely a controversial choice. Well, we have no ribbon, white ribbon, green ribbon. Can't quite decide. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Let's bring them back in. So here are our 4 cards for tonight. So this is using our DSP. So this is from the Christmas Tidings. This is from the Europeach paper. This is the hand-penned paper. And this is the Nature's Beauty paper. So all of these are on sale, 15% off until the 2nd of August. So do make sure to get your orders in. Or if you've already got Designer Series paper, then here's some great ideas about how to use it really, really simply, up to, actually not that complicated, but I think these two look more impressive as cards. So Kat says 1, Amy says 1, 2, 4, 3. And as I say, don't forget that on the 3rd of August, the new Christmas catalogue. I know I've said the C word. The new Christmas catalogue comes out. So we'll be having some fun with that. So Diane says 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Oh wow, we've got you all over the place in terms of your favourites. So that's really good. I'm really delighted. So thank you for joining me tonight, everybody. It's been a lot of fun. I hope I've given you some nice ideas about how to use your patterned paper. And if you give any of these a go, I would love to see what you make and post it into the VIP group so we can all see it and enjoy it and love it. And I will see you all again next week. Bye.